Wow, it's 26th episode of Zealous Conversations. I'm Pastor Jonathan.
And I'm JJ.
And we're here to talk today about the topic of evangelism, the importance of evangelism.
Yeah, evangelism. What is it? It's a big word that we as Christians use. Not many other people use it. It just means something to us. And we're here to talk to you today about it. Evangelism. Why is it so important? What is it? And are you doing it?
Well, and it has various levels. Personal evangelism, church evangelism, evangelism as a Billy Graham crusade, mass, what they call mass evangelism, broadcast evangelism. All of it has to do with message.
Televangelism.
Televangelism, yeah. The heart of the word evangelism is the Greek word evangel or euangelion.
Evangelion, yes.
And that is it harkens back to the days when they didn't have radios or phones, and you had a messenger or a herald who would run out in the town and would say, hear ye, and would tell whatever the king needed to have told or make the public announcements or that sort of thing. That is a euangelion. That's somebody who carries a message. And obviously Christianity has what we believe is a life-changing message.
Exactly. One of my favorite things, one of my interesting things is that, we have the word evangelism, euangelion.
Right.
We're bringing the message being the gospel. And the gospel in Spanish is evangelio.
Yeah, it's almost exactly the same word. It's obviously built on that same word.
Yeah. So we're evangelizing with the evangelio.
Right.
The gospel.
So why is that important? Because every minute around the world, 102 people die. Every minute, 102 people die. So every hour, 6,098 people die. Every day, 146,357 people die.
Whoa. People
are dying, and we're not, after they die, we can't tell them the good news. We have to tell them the good news before they die.
Right.
That's part of our belief.
Ideally, yes.
Yes. So if you're to line up the people who are without Christ in the world today and give each non-Christian 2 feet of space, the line would stretch 1,734,848 miles long.
Whoa. Don't tell me. Is that 70 times around the earth?
This line would reach around the Earth's equator 70 times.
I'm just that smart.
You are a mathematician, man. You did that so fast. No, we're looking at the same notes. We're looking at David Wheeler's excellent book, Evangelism Is. It's telling us those numbers. Right. It was impressive.
70
numbers.
Times. If you were to line up every
person who's not a believer, not a Christian,
every non-believer,
and you give them 2 feet in the line. Some people take more than 2 feet.
Right. You take the average.
Yeah.
Give them 2 feet of space.
You can wrap the earth
70 times.
70 times.
That is incredible.
It's too many people.
It is too many people.
We need to tell people about Christ, those who don't have Jesus. And we don't, when we say we're doing evangelism, we're not saying we're going to beat them with this message. We're not saying that they have to accept. We're simply saying that we as believers have to tell. We have to do our part and give them a chance to hear the gospel, and then they can accept it or they can reject it. We won't reject them either way. We'll love them either way. We want them to hear the good news of Christ.
Yeah, exactly. As Christians, we have a responsibility to tell others about the good news. We tell other people about this really nice restaurant we ate at or this really cool movie we saw.
This app we just found.
But we don't tell people about, the life-saving, life-changing gospel that we've received.
It's part of modern life. We're just so insulated. You get on a bus, you get on a plane, and everybody's got their headphones on, and don't talk to me. Somebody very, I'm an old guy, so I get to have all these decades of experience. Somebody laughingly observed, some comedian that I heard. So, back in the old days, if you're at your home at night and somebody knocks on the door, your mother runs around picking stuff up, and everybody's excited. Oh my goodness, somebody's come to see us. She goes and gets the Sara Lee pound cake out of the freezer. She starts making coffee and, hey, please come in. Come and sit at the table with kids. Meet our guests. Man, it's a new world. Nobody wants to see anybody come to their door. What is that guy doing on my front porch?
Everyone's a suspect. What do they want?
It's a shame. It's a shame. It's a loss.
People start posting stuff on their fences. Stay away from me. I don't have any money. I don't want your cookies. I already have Jesus. Leave me alone.
You're right.
I've seen that. And it's just so heartbreaking that social interaction that people get from, just stopping at someone's house is, vanishing before our very eyes.
It's going away, and it is a loss. It's an unfortunate loss. I want to go to the good old story in the New Testament about a little short guy. You and I both can identify with Zacchaeus because...
In what way?
He's a short guy.
Oh.
And we're both kind of short guys.
Yes, we are.
It's our burden that we carry. We never bump our heads going through doors,
Right. Yeah.
It's a good thing.
That is a blessing.
Yes. So Jesus goes to Jericho. There's a dirty, rotten sinner there named Zacchaeus. The reason he's a dirty, rotten sinner is because he's decided to work for the Romans and take tax money from the Jews, and he's a Jew. He's doing it to his own people. And from their perspective, he was doing that for dirty, rotten money, and he was working for the dirty, rotten emperor, and he was taking money out of their pockets, and he was getting wealthy on it. There was graft in the system, and everybody knew that, And so Jesus is going to Jericho, and he goes and sees Zacchaeus,
who's in a tree,
who was so anxious to see Jesus that he climbed a tree, which, that's just crazy too. And Jesus goes and has dinner at Zacchaeus' house, and Zacchaeus makes a dramatic statement, a dramatic change of heart that he's going to return anything he's stolen. He's going to make restitution. And Jesus says, today salvation has come to this house. Because this man, too, is a son of Abraham. And the Son of Man has come to seek and to save those who are lost. And Jesus is the one who used the word lost. And that's a word that he used to describe those who have not believed in him. Yeah. Since Jesus is seeking Jesus, since he is a Messiah who came looking for us, he commissions us to go looking for them, to go looking for people.
Yeah, we take the church to our community, to our family, to our friends, those who would otherwise never step foot in a church. It is our job, it is our mission to go and reach out to those people, to go and share the gospel with those people, to love on them the way Christ loved us, and share with them the good news.
Well, and I think the key word you just said there is the love factor. Lots of people who are Christians, they get wrapped up in their church world. Their friends are all Christians. They begin to look with suspicion on people who are not Christians. They begin to judge, say, well, we're in and they're out. And they do things and they have practices that I don't agree with. And they scare me. There's a difference, and people are scared of different. And so we can come across very unloving, very callous. Yeah. And it's a constant struggle for a Christian to continue to love those who are not believers, who do not have the same ideas as we do. And too often, we've been too judgmental. If Jesus can go to Zacchaeus' house and have dinner and offer him the gospel and let him have a chance to believe, then I get to go to some guy's house that I don't agree with or who I think is a bad sinner or something, and I get to be nice, and I get to offer him the gospel, and hopefully he'll believe.
Yeah, I really love that story because it shows that I'm sure that there was nobody that liked Zacchaeus. He was a tax collector. He was making money off of all those people. So there was people that would rather just not be around him. That's probably why he was in a tree. People, get away from me, I don't want you next to me. I don't like you. There's only, he could only hang out in a tree because people don't want to be around him. or maybe because he was short too.
He couldn't see over all the watermelon heads
Yeah.
standing in front of him. Yeah.
And Jesus says, Zacchaeus, make haste and get down here. Hurry up and get down here. And he jumps on down, and Jesus meets Zacchaeus where he's at. He sees him, and he knows, Jesus being knower of all things, knows that Zacchaeus is a tax collector, knows that people don't like him, knows that he's probably taking money from people, and yet still says, I want to eat with you in your home. Salvation has come to this house.
Zacchaeus is not the only time Jesus did that. One of the criticisms leveled against Jesus was that he ate with tax collectors and sinners.
Yeah,
that he
Matthew.
fellowshipped. Jesus was a fun guy. He liked people. We need to like people. We need to enjoy being around lots of different kinds of people. And we don't need to withdraw into our religious rules and say, I'm going to put my religious rules on this person. This person is not religious. Not yet. I haven't given them a chance. I'll just be friends with them first. Let's see if we can get along, Maybe I'll get a chance to share the gospel with you when I'd establish that we're kind of, we have some similar tastes. We like things the same way. We're both Dallas Cowboy fans. We both like enchiladas, or we both like to go fishing or something like that, Let's be nice people.
Well, my friend Joel, he told us one time about a story. He was in college. He was in his class, and there was this weird kid that he didn't really want to talk to, but he felt the Lord say, "Hey, go talk to him." And Joel's like, "Hi, I'm Joel." The guy's like, "Hey, I don't know, Mark. What do you do?" And they got to talking, and turns out this Mark dude is like a super nerd into Magic the Gathering. And Joel's like, oh no, he's a nerd. So he's like, Joel's like, well, you should teach me how to play sometime. Let's get together and you can teach me how to play. So they decided, hey, we're going to meet this day and I'll teach you. So that day came, Joel showed up, and Mark came and he said, hey, I made you a deck out of all my other cards, out of my collection, and I want you to have it.
Whoa.
His own personal cards that he's been collecting. And Joel still has that deck to this day because that was the bridge and the opening to a beautiful friendship and him sharing the gospel with somebody.
Sure.
And he shared the verse that says that Paul said, I'm all things to all people. And I want to relate and I want to be there. And, if you do something, I want to do it with you because I want that connection. I want that relationship. And when you make connections like that and you make relationships like that, people are more easily, they'll be willing to listen to what you have to say.
And in our increasingly secular world, there's a lot of doubt and skepticism. There's even a lot of fear about Christians and Christian beliefs. There's a lot of misunderstandings about it. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to embrace everything nowadays. You're not supposed to criticize anybody. Nobody's wrong. Everybody's doing what they want to do. But the Christian message is a clash of ideals. It's not political. Heaven's mercy, it's not political. Philosophical collision. And how much easier is that if I like the guy and he likes me and we have some commonalities and we've talked and we get to know each other. Maybe he's more trusting. Maybe he'll listen to me for a minute. Then I have to be ready to say, I'm still going to be your friend. Whether or not you immediately convert to Christ in this one conversation, I'll go on and be your friend anyway, because I'll just be your friend. And man, that'd be so much better. I grew up in a time when there was lots of, in my little world where I was growing up, there's lots of lines people put on. If you had long hair, you couldn't come to church, If you didn't wear a tie, if you didn't wear a coat and tie, you couldn't come to church. And man, that alienated a lot of people.
Unfortunately,
that was unfortunate.
Yeah,
I do think we're better about it nowadays. Yeah. I hope we are. I think we are. This book that we were looking at has some little points here based on that Zacchaeus story, that model of Jesus. Mm-hmm. Said, first of all, retrieving lost people is a high priority. It's the highest priority. The church does a lot of things, does missions around the world, does music. It does stuff for kids.
Yeah.
We feed people. We gather up clothes for people. We meet. Our church has put roofs on people's houses for them. We've re-sided a house. We have done. We got all these clothes for the school kids. I mean, we do things.
Yeah.
All of those things are wonderful things, but the highest priority is to share the gospel with people who've never heard it.
Exactly.
Give them a chance.
It's one of the last things Jesus said before he ascended to heaven.
That's right. He gave us the Great Commission.
The Great Commission, yeah.
And retrieving lost people, he says retrieving, that's an interesting word, requires costly initiative. Again, this is from a book by David Wheeler called Evangelism Is. It costs something.
Mm-hmm.
It may cost me some of my time. It may actually cost me money.
Yeah.
It may require me to kind of examine my prejudices and say that person, oh, yeah, I can love that. I can be a friend of that person. Jesus loves that person too. Mm-hmm. Maybe I ought to love that person since Jesus does. You know, it's going to hurt. It's going to take effort and time and money and re-examinations. It costs to reach out to people.
It might cost you to, step out of your comfort zone.
Big time.
My buddy Jason, he has a few sweaters. I always see him wearing a different color. He has some sweaters that say, just right here on the chest, it says, seek discomfort. Look for opportunity, get out of your comfort zone and speak to somebody.
Mm-hmm. Our church is full of people who were not believers, did not fit the mold of being believers. Mm-hmm. Somebody spoke to them. Somebody gave them a chance. They accepted the gospel. It's changed their life. They've come into the fold of the church. They've put their own spin on it. Our church is made up of individual people who do church and do life together. And I remember a particular member who's gone on to be with the Lord now. Is what we say when somebody's died, is they've gone to be with the Lord. And man, when he came to Christ, nobody would have ever thought it was possible. It's rough and kind of violent and full of cursing and mucho life experience of very bad ways. And somebody gave him a chance, and he took it. He believed. Again, we don't have to make them believe, but we have to give them the chance.
Yeah. We are called to go and share the gospel. We're called to go and share with other people. There's an artist that I listen to. His name's Brennan Joseph. And he says that my testimony is a bunch of other people's yeses. They're called to obedience to the Lord. The only reason I heard about Jesus is because someone was obedient. And they said, yes, Lord, I'll go. Yes, Lord, I'll talk to them. Yes, Lord.
Right. Series of yeses. Mm-hmm. Howard Hendricks was a great educator in the Christian world for 50 years, teaching people. And he said, we invalidate the message of God's love for men when we do not love men for God.
That makes me think of a story.
What's the story?
We'll close off with this story.
Yeah.
Do you know the magicians? They have that TV show Penn and Teller.
Yeah.
Well,
absolutely.
Penn. Penn. His name's Penn Jillette, I think. In 2009, he posted a YouTube video that every Christian should probably watch. Do you know about it?
I do.
Where after his show, this Christian guy came up to him, and he gave him a gift of the Bible, and he's spoken out about his atheism. This man, he comes up to him with his beliefs, which Penn disagrees with, but he sees the man's heart and he respects it. He says, you have your beliefs, I respect it. And he's drawn to the man, not his faith, and he supports, the man's decision to approach him. So he says, yeah, you know what? What do you got to say? So he's, I want to share the gospel with you. And he's like, all right, well, okay, go ahead. So this man shares the gospel with him, and he's sharing, and then at the end he says, thanks for listening. You're welcome. Penn didn't convert to Christianity. He's still an atheist, as far as I know. But he says, how much do you have to Like with your beliefs as a Christian, how much do you have to hate somebody to not tell them
right
about Jesus? Like if you
So
truly
valid.
believe
Yeah.
that Jesus is real with your whole heart, how much do you have to hate somebody to not tell them about Jesus?
And this gospel changes people. Martin Luther King Jr. led this country in an incredible way through the civil rights movement, sacrificed his life, really, for the civil rights movement. He was motivated by Christianity, by the belief in Christ and the love for people and the understanding that people could be better than they were and that racism was morally wrong and needed to be opposed. Christians through history have had a great influence. When people accepted the gospel, light has come into the world, and wellness and ministries and helping and all kinds of things. But none of it's ever going to happen if we stay quiet.
That's right.
We have to love them enough to tell them.
Love them enough to tell them. That's right. Well, I hope you guys learned something about evangelism. What is it? Why do we do it?
Kind of the motivation for it, I think.
Yeah. And it's something that we're called to do, the Great Commission. If you don't know what the Great Commission is when I say it, then here it is. God says in Matthew 28,
18 through 20.
18
Jesus came to them
20.
and said, all power on heaven and earth has been given unto me.
Therefore,
Go and
go
make
into
disciples
of all nations, teaching them to observe
all
the
that
things
I've
I have commanded you,
and
baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son,
Son,
and the Holy Spirit. And
Lo, I'm with you always,
Yeah,
even to the end of the
earth.
age.
Yeah, to the end of the age. We have different translations memorized.
About the low is the old word.
Yeah. So that's Jesus' great commission for us. He's commissioned us to go to the nations, to make disciples, and to teach others everything that he has taught us. And he is with us always to the end of the age. And that's what we're called to do. So I encourage you to step out your comfort zone, make a sacrifice, say yes. Because you never know where it'll take you and where it'll take that other person. So with that being said, God bless you. May the Lord keep you, shine his face upon you.